When most people think about Squid Game, they immediately think about violence. They remember the giant doll in red light and green light with her laser eyes, and they also remember the glass bridge with many people falling off. And obviously, they remember the shocking deaths. But what actually makes the show super powerful is not just the violence. It's the fact that all of the games are based on childhood memories, specifically Korean childhood games that many people grew up playing. In this presentation, I will argue that Squid Game is powerful because it takes a familiar Korean playground game and turns them into deadly competitions. By doing this series explores how pressure, competition, and fear shapes human behaviors in modern Korean society and in the world more broadly. One of the most important cultural elements of Squid Game is the use of traditional Korean children games. The first game, Red Light, Green Light, is known as Korea as 무궁화 꽃이 피었습니다, which translates to quote-unquote the hibiscus flower has bloomed. The hibiscus flower is actually the national flower of South Korea, which already connects the game to Korean identity. The final game, Squid Game itself, is a real playground game that was commonly played in South Korea during the 1970s and 80s. Many Korean adults watching the show would immediately recognize it from their childhood. Tug of War and Marbles are also nostalgic games that many Koreans associated with simpler times. These games are not just random choices by the director, they're deeply rooted in Korean childhood culture. For Korean viewers especially, these games represent innocence, friendship, and memories of growing up before adult responsibilities actually began. But in this series, losing these games mean death. The playgrounds are built in super bright pastel colors. The walls look like they were almost made from a children's cartoon. And the giant doll in red light and green light looks like a toy, one that you might see in a classroom or one that you'd see in Toys R Us. Everything appears playful and harmless. And then, within seconds, players are shot. This extreme contrast between childlike visuals and brutal consequences creates emotional shock. The show takes something pure and nostalgic and transforms it into something terrifying and extremely scary. That transformation reflects something deeper, how childhood competition can evolve into intense adult competition. To understand this more clearly, it helps to consider the social environment in South Korea. South Korea is often described as a highly competitive society. From a young age, students face enormous academic pressure. The college entrance exam, known as the Sunyung, is considered one of the most important days in a student's life. Students often study long hours, attend private academies called hagwons, and compete constantly for rankings. Even after school, competition continues in the workplace. South Korea is known for long hours and strong expectations around success and achievement. While Squid Game doesn't directly explain all of this, the structure of the games reflects a similar atmosphere. Only one person can win the prize money. Everyone else must lose, and losses equals death. This winner-takes-all system mirrors a competitive structure where success for one often means failure for another. This series doesn't preach or give long speeches about society. Rather, it shows competition in its most extreme form. However, what makes Squid Game truly powerful is not just its reflection on competition, but its exploration of human behavior under pressure. The marble episode is one of the clearest examples. Each player must choose a partner, usually someone they trust. Ali chooses Sang-woo because he believes Sang-woo is intelligent but also kind. At first, Sang-woo appears to help Ali. But as the game continues, Sang-woo secretly replaces Ali's marbles and deceives him in order to survive. This moment is devastating. Ali trusted him. Sang-woo knew that, but fear of death overpowered loyalty. In contrast, Ji-young makes a very different decision. Instead of fighting Se-byuk for survival, she chooses to sacrifice herself so that Se-byuk can continue. Two characters face the exact same situation. One chooses betrayal, and the other chooses compassion. The show doesn't label either character as completely good or completely evil. Instead, it shows how extreme fear reveals different sides of human nature. Another example is the glass bridge game. As the players move forward, they realize the panels might break. No one wants to go first. Eventually, panic spreads. Some players begin pushing others forward to see which tiles are safe. Fear turns into aggression, survival becomes more important than morality, and through these scenes, this show asks a simple but powerful question. Who are we? when we're afraid. Despite being deeply rooted in Korean culture, Squid Game becomes Netflix's most watched series worldwide. Why did it resonate globally? Because although the games are specifically Korean, the emotions are universal. Everyone understands fear, everybody understands financial stress, and everyone has to make difficult choices in their life. The show balances cultural specificity with universal themes. It is clearly Korean in its language, setting, and childhood games, but its emotional core crosses borders. That balance helped it become not just a Korean hit, but a global phenomenon. In conclusion, Squid Game is not simply a violent survival series. It takes Korean childhood games and transforms them into symbols of pressure, competition, and moral struggles. By combining nostalgic cultural elements with psychological tension, the show explores how fear and desperation influence human behavior. Its bright, playful visuals contrast sharply with brutal outcomes, reminding viewers how innocence can be corrupted by competition. Through its characters, it shows that under extreme pressure, morality becomes fragile. Some people betray, some people sacrifice, most people struggle. That emotional complexity, combined with its strong connection to Korean childhood culture and social competition, is what makes Squid Game such a significant work of Korean popular culture. It is not just about who survives, it is about what survival costs. And that is why the series remains powerful long after the final episode ends.